Welcome to the season finale of It's a Jungle Out There. I'm your host and queen, Maria Tabrari. As you know by now, the show is about kings and queens living, excelling, and thriving in their jungles. Our guest today for our season finale is the very definition of girl boss, Elizabeth Sutton. Her designs have been displayed everywhere from Bergdorf Goodman, the Plaza Hotel, Saks Fifth Avenue in Brickell, Eden Rock in St. Barth, and even the Bravo $1 million listing. This is because Sutton has mastered the art of licensing, which has given her the financial stability to focus on painting and creating. We're excited to learn more, and let's give a huge welcome to a friend of ZWF Miami, Elizabeth Sutton.
Thank you so much for having me for the finale of It's a Jungle Out There. It definitely is a jungle out there, especially here, actually.
Yes. Tell us about how you came to be the queen in your own life today.
So I think we are all the queens of our own lives. How I became the queen of my own life, I don't know that I always was. I think I had lost a little bit of control in my life. I went through a lot of loss, and I realized that I was no longer happy, and if I was going to become happy again, I needed to take control over my life. And I went from being an Upper East Side housewife married at 21 to a serious career woman divorced with 2 little kids.
So let's retract. Let's go back. So what happened to you that you say that you lost a lot?
What is my loss? Well, first and foremost, one of my best friends, she was hit by a bus. She was killed the day after sitting on my couch, 29 years old. I was 6 months pregnant with my son at the time. Maybe 2 months later, my ex-husband sat me down on a couch and said, essentially, we lost all our money. It's a lot more complex than that. I'm putting like a pretty ribbon on it. But he said we lost all our money. We were in a lot of financial strain. We were in a lot of trouble. The whole stress of that gave my father-in-law a heart attack, cancer. That all put a stress on our marriage. I was doing what I was supposed to do, which was to try and have more kids after that. The way I began painting, actually, is when we lost our money. I was in the middle of a very fancy renovation for my son. And I could no longer afford the art that I wanted. I had a vision, and I could no longer afford the art. And I picked up a paintbrush one Sunday. I painted with my friend, put it on the wall, put it on Instagram, and that's literally how my art
What were you driven to do that? What drove you? What was the vision
I
that you
had a vision. I was designing this nursery. It was like black and white stripes. I'd use this gorgeous cravat multicolor fabric. I just had a vision, even though this was way before I ever became a designer. And I had a vision for the art. I wanted some very colorful pop art on the wall to, juxtapose the black and white stripes. And I could no longer afford the art that I wanted. And I decided, okay, I was always very crafty. I had done like arts and crafts throughout my marriage to keep me busy, but I never like formally painted.
Were you working or just a physical housewife?
I was a housewife. I got married at 21. I studied marketing and finance. I started at NYU when I transferred to Baruch. I had a internship throughout my college career at a fashion company called Parker, but I got married at 21 just as I was graduating, and I didn't need a job. And based on the lifestyle we were living, which was traveling all over the world, I didn't need a $50,000 job in fashion and not be able to live that lifestyle. But I was super bored. I started volunteering for an organization called High Lifeline at Sloan Kettering, doing respite volunteering for children with terminally ill diseases. A baby I volunteered with for 6 months passed away at 3 years old, so that was kind of sad.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was sad, and I stopped volunteering because it was too much emotionally. But I was bored. I'd go to museums. I would cook. I was basically an amateur chef when I was married. I would entertain 16 people on a Tuesday night and set a gorgeous table and make my own floral escapes, and that was like my creative outlet. And I had never painted, but then I picked up a paintbrush with my friend at the time, Stacy Kimball. We painted, and that is literally how my career
What was your
started.
inspiration?
My inspiration for really starting my career was I realized I was terribly unhappy after, my father-in-law got sick.
Unhappy with your marriage or unhappy with the world that you were living in?
Unhappy with myself being in my marriage, right? I realized that I was obviously unhappy with my marriage, but at a certain point you need to take responsibility for your own unhappiness, right? I realized that this circumstance was making me unhappy. And I think that when you as an individual are not happy, you are not, giving the best energy to the universe. If you're not happy, you might go against your own personal ethos. And I found that I wasn't happy with myself as a result of the fact that I was not happy.
You thought there was something out there more for you than just being a housewife? raising children?
You know, that's not what I was thinking at the time. I was just thinking that I'm miserably unhappy in my marriage, and I just needed to get out, because if I was going to stay married, I was going to do things that I didn't approve of, and I didn't want to do those things.
Right.
Yeah, so I needed money. I needed money, so I started to
You're figuring
hustle.
out how you would make that money and quick to be able to survive.
Quick. I put myself under a pressure cooker of having to create a lot of money very fast. And I remember I never had a proper job in my life at the time, so.
Well, this is how you grow, quick and fast.
I don't know if you can tell from my diction and how I speak, but I talk fast, I walk fast, I work fast.
Yes, you do.
Yes, it's my New York energy.
Do you feel you have anxiety, or you feel it's part of your character?
I'm a 6th generation New Yorker, which I don't think you can find many people like the ability to say that. I think it's just like in
your nature?
my blood.
Your nature.
In my blood, yes.
Cool. Let's look at one of your darkest moments and how you came out the other side stronger, more resilient, and powerful.
So, as I mentioned, a lot of loss in about a 2-year period. After my father-in-law got sick, I actually suffered a miscarriage. I realized I was not happy. A month later, I asked my ex for a divorce. That night, I found I was pregnant again. I really wasn't even sure I was going to keep the baby. Thank God for an amazing therapist who said he didn't think I could, handle the decision to terminate. That's my daughter, who is like my biggest gift in life. But I left when my daughter was 3 weeks old and my son was 2 years old. I was just like, I'm out. I'm done. I didn't have.
So I'm sure that made you more stronger.
Yes. Well, at the time, I think I was very vulnerable, but I was just happy to have my freedom. And I felt like I was on the right path. I just was going to have to work hard. But unfortunately, 6 months later, my assistant and dear friend was killed in my car leaving my birthday party the last night of my first art basel. And that was my biggest tragedy. And that really, any plans that I, had in my head when I left my marriage, which was already a vulnerable enough position, it really took my life and all verticals of my life, right? My emotional well-being, my mental well-being, my finances, my business, like the rug pulled out on it.
So I think that you had to go through all these steps in your life to find yourself where you're at today, basically. Do you ever felt that you were bird in a cage? Because I can tell you by experience, that's how I felt with my second marriage. And when I was released, there was no stopping that bird. The wings flew, the wings opened and flew.
I agree. I think my wings were clipped. I think I have a lot of pent-up energy, but I think that car accident where, 1 minute I was celebrating with someone who was very dear to me, and the next minute I saw like really PTSD, visual, tragedy and trauma, I realized just how short life was, and I don't care what anybody thinks about me. Really, nobody. I come from a very conservative, small community, and I am not at all how I'm supposed to be. But I really don't care, because they can have their judgment. It's my life. I'm the only one that's going to have regrets if I don't follow my dreams, if I don't live the way I want to live, and if they judge me, that's their problem.
And that's why you're special.
We're all special. It's just a matter of how much we embrace our specialness, and I embrace it. I embrace it. I'm true to who I am. I live according to my ethos, and if they have an opinion, that's their problem.
Exactly. And that's the way you have to be in order to be able to be who you are.
I do agree that everything happens for a reason, though, right? I needed that car accident to happen because it forced me into grief counseling, and, it forced me to work on myself, and going through that experience ended up, on a journey of healing some things from my childhood. My parents had a terrible divorce. I have terrible daddy issues, parental abandonment. I don't talk to my father. And, that affected many male relationships throughout my lifetime. And I didn't realize because it was just my experience. I didn't realize. But when I started working with a grief counselor on that car accident, once I was done resolving that, I don't know that ever fully gets resolved, but we moved on to other problems I had.
Other problems, yes.
And it truly helped my life. And finally, for the first time ever, I'm really in a super happy, healthy relationship. I love myself. I feel like I definitely healed a lot of traumas from my past, and they made me who I am, and they made me fearless. And I'm gonna be the next Ralph Lauren, something like that.
There you go. Good luck. That's your vision and mission. What is the project you are brewing that you are excited for?
So my first up, I have next week my solo exhibition at the Eden Rock St. Barth's. It's my second exhibition. I do an exhibition there every year. And as part of my exhibition, we always design a product. So last year we did these 2 limited edition clutches for their gift shop.
Beautiful.
This year we are doing a collaboration with Spray
I love
Ground.
that.
Thank you. Again, patterns developed from nature. My other pattern actually has butterflies and animals. So those are pictures that I took in St. Barth's. And then also on deck, I am doing all the art programming for a 500,000 square foot commercial building in Brooklyn called the Whale Building, 150-foot wall, 14 stairwells, the lobby, and the shuttle.
Wow.
I have a collection of 50 rugs launching with Rugs America. I just launched office desk chairs with the Raynor Group. They're the largest manufacturers of desk chairs in the United States that just officially got on Home, Office Max, Office Depot, Staples.com. I am launching 8 new tile collections with Tile Bar. I am launching puzzles. Anything else I'm forgetting? I feel like a wine.
What inspires you to bring out those colors or the designs?
Color is life. Like, I thrive off of color. Some people are afraid of color. For me, color is energy. I surround myself with colorful things. For me, that's happiness. Some people like gray. Some people like black. I need like rainbow. Really bold, bright colors. I mostly get inspired by nature. So I'd say I paint photographs. So I will take photos of animals, of flowers, of foliage, and I paint them. And then when I do my designs, I'll take, let's say, different assets from different paintings, and I will create a pattern out of those assets. So really, when I go on vacation, I take photos, I develop creativity from there. The other day, I promise you're going to see a lot of patterns come out of pictures I took the other day while I was here. So nature is actually my biggest source of inspiration.
So how would you describe yourself?
A little crazy. I'm actually very nice and very sensitive, but rough around the edges. I'm one of the most creative people you'll ever meet. I believe in energy. You get what you give, and I am one of the biggest hustlers you'll ever meet. Like, people talk, I do.
What's the main difference between a juggler from New York and Miami?
Honestly, I haven't seen the Miami hustle. The Miami hustle down here seems a lot more social. The New York hustle is work.
So Miami is more for show.
Listen, I judge nothing. It's not my lifestyle. I enjoy work, right? People here in general, they move here because they like a little bit more of a laid-back lifestyle. I like to work. I really enjoy it. So to each their own. I can't wait to get back to New York. I will miss Miami, so hopefully I will be back and forth.
So you're moving to New York, or are you going to be both?
I move back in June, but I hopefully will be keeping a place down here. Part of my team is staying down here. I'm going to have to restaff my team in New York, but I will hopefully be a dual city company forever from here on out.
That can happen. So my question to you is, how can you juggle being a businesswoman, being the queen of your own jungle, and being a mom? How do you juggle that life?
I don't know. How do you juggle it? I just deal with whatever is on my table at the moment, right? So like in the morning, I drive my kids to school. Then I get on the phone with my boyfriend who lives 5,000 miles away. And then I work, pick my kids up from school, like whatever is demanding me at the moment. Like, I'm like, oh, am I going to get back in time to pick my kids up from school pickup? Probably not. I need to call my assistant to make sure that gets done. You know, I think that the concept of balance for a working mom is not a real thing. It's whatever needs your attention at the moment.
Exactly. That's the key word. Mm-hmm. Where can our listeners, viewers, find more information on and follow you on social media?
So you can go to my Instagram, which is at Elizabeth Sutton Collection, Sutton. Online, I have my website, elizabethsutton.com, for all my products and art. I have a lifestyle blog, elizabethsuttoncollection.com, for recipes and other things. And we just launched a YouTube. We don't have so many subscribers yet, but that is a focus for us this year. But I have amazing content up there, actually. So
what are you having on YouTube? Like the videos?
So I love to cook. It's a pastime of mine. I don't have so much time for it, but that was a past creative hobby. I cook, I have recipes, I have videos about design, how to mix color, how to paint, how to set a table, so many things, very lifestyle oriented. I also speak about resilient oriented things, so bullying, sexual harassment, sexual assault, basically how to be strong at life and business is the essence of my YouTube.
What brought you to do that?
I was trying to grow my audience. I really feel the need to take my brand, not to take my brand off of Instagram, but to grow on other platforms. Instagram is very instantaneous. YouTube has a lot more SEO benefits, which for e-commerce is more beneficial. It lasts forever. And I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm sick of Instagram, but it takes over my life.
I understand you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. YouTube has like longevity. It stays forever. You're not just posting an IG story that lives for 24 hours. It lives forever.
Thank you for joining us today, Elizabeth. We look forward to watching your journey. As always, like, subscribe, and comment on the video, and remember, you can listen wherever you get your favorite podcast. Till next season, stay wild, strong, and empowered. I am Maria Tabrawi, and remember, we're all kings and queens in our own jungle. Stream this and new episodes wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.